Hi.
Hello.
We are the McCormac Sisters, and today is August 21st, 2018.
We were asked to be interviewed for the Strathmere files, and we're excited. So I am Megan McCormac. I'm now Megan Melograna. I've been coming here since I was 2, and I'm almost 45 years old.
And I'm Jen McCormac, married name Gormley. And I was 3 months old when we started coming here. Our parents are Walt and Mary Ann McCormac. And we have so many wonderful memories of Strathmere to share. There's kind of a lot that are personal memories, and then other things that are, I think, just unique to the town that other people remember as well. I guess we'll talk a little bit about when we were kids coming here. We would come all summer long. Our mom and dad would pick us up from school and we would come straight here. We grew up in Audubon, New Jersey, which is about an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we would literally have our uniforms on from school and we would come here and
hang them in the closet until we had to leave at the end of the summer to start school again.
The night before or morning of school, I guess.
Yeah.
We would come ever. Since we were little, we've been here for the summer months, which has been
amazing.
Really the best, some of the best memories of our lives.
And I don't think you appreciate it until you're a little older and have children of your own to bring. So, when we were younger, what?
I was going to say, well, your children now are...
My children now are 8 and 6. I have 2 boys, Nicholas and Brendan, and their favorite times are coming to the shore to spend with their cousins. So,
and I have 3 little ones, 10, 8, and 5 now, Maddie, Taylor, and Nikki, and we're still in the same house. It's basically the same as when we were little. Upstairs, there's an upstairs unit and a downstairs unit of, well, the address is 309 Bayview Drive. We're right next to the water tower. And a little bit, the house has changed just a little bit with the structure of the upstairs with some of the walls, but no additions or anything, except for the porch upstairs, and the steps have been moved around. But it's basically the same setup of for, since we've been coming here.
Right, and our parents are upstairs and we're downstairs, so works out wonderful. And we're excited that our kids get to experience what we were able to experience, the freedom of just not really, worrying about them being outside and playing. And we would go to the beach every day, and that's what we remember from when we were younger. We would go to the beach every day. You would make new friends on the beach, and I just remember, the lifeguards, you knew their names, they knew your names. It's just such a wonderful place to grow up. And we both worked here during the summer. That just dinged.
That was my phone.
Oh, sorry. We both worked here during the summer. I was really young. I don't even remember. I think maybe 14. And places I worked on the island was Vans. It was a sandwich shop.
Where La Fontana is
now.
I
think first it was where the old shack is now.
Oh, down this way.
Down that way.
Where the old shack
the old shack is now. Is where Van opened up there, so I worked there, and then he opened up on the other end where La Fontana is now. It was formerly Ernie's, and then he changed that into Van's. So I worked on both ends, and he also had a restaurant as well as his, sandwich place and, cold cuts and whatnot. So you got to know a lot of people just from them coming in and out. And then the Old Time Store opened up, which is right at the corner of Tecumseh and Commonwealth. And we worked there for years. And I also worked at the Beach Cafe when it was at the old shack. And then whoever ran the Beach Cafe opened up at the old Vans. Same deal. Sandwiches and then to a restaurant. And then eventually it turned into La Fontana. Mm-hmm. But the Old Time Store is where most of my girlfriends and I worked from down here. Lots of them who now we still see every summer because their families still have houses here. And now our children are growing up together, going to the beach and playing, and they call each other aunt and uncle, and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And where did you work?
Well, my first job was at the old time store, and I think I was 12, and I could scoop ice cream. That was the only thing I did for, I think, my first summer or so. And then once I was 13 or 14, I was allowed to take orders. I took lunch orders. And I just remember at the old time store, there was a line out the door during lunchtime, especially on the weekends. But even during, it was so busy, and as you mentioned before, like, a lot of the lifeguards would come in and they would all have a tab with their name at the top, and so they could just, for the week or the month or whatever it was for the summer, maybe they would have their running tab. And most of the people that I remember like lived in town, right? I mean, most of the guards.
Most of the guards were in town. There were maybe a few that were from across the bridge or whatnot, and you got to know them and you knew what they liked to eat for lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean,
and we still see a lot of them now. And our ages are all kind of different, so I feel like different generations and different ages of people that you would see from our times working or just being in town. But now that we're older, I feel like it doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't.
You see people, and I always felt like I was maybe, tagging along with Megan and her friends. And now a lot of her friends, I'm also friends with. And people we see that, there's just this respect and bond I think that we all have since we've been all coming here. It's just something so unique, it's even hard to describe.
It is. So, like when you're out at Twisties at night, or you get to talking and you talk about, how long you've been coming here. Like when our husbands came here, they kind of didn't understand. Well, I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? You're going out. Where are you going? Well, we're just going out, and you see people, and who's that? And, well, I know them from when I was younger, and they still come down. Yes, they do. And then you'll hang out at night just talking, and you'll just talk about how awesome this place is, and this is the bond that holds you together no matter what age. You've got people close to 70, you've got people in their 50s, you have people in their 20s, and you can hang out with them at night, just chatting, hanging out, having a bonfire, playing guitar, having a few beverages, and it's my favorite memories and my favorite time. This is, it's like in your blood. Once you're here, this is in my blood. This is where I need to be in the summer. This is where I want to be in the summer. Right?
Right.
So
we're blessed now that we have this space and we can share it and come and spend time with our parents. Right. And I mean, the neighbors and our relatives, I mean, our door is always open and people are in and out all summer long, and it's really amazing for our kids to experience that as well. And and we're lucky enough to be able to come I bring my kids from Maryland. We live outside of DC now, but I bring my kids for the whole summer to be here. And Megan lives a little bit closer, so she's back and forth more. But it's the best place to be, really.
It is. And our dad is the one who delivers the soft pretzels when he gets down. And the donuts of my girlfriend. He still brings us donuts on Sundays, and we'll drop it off at her house across the street on Sunday mornings for her kids. And it's sweet. And our favorite times are when we're all down the beach. We walk down to Tecumseh, and it takes us quite a while to get to the beach. Why? Because you stop and you talk to all the neighbors along the way.
Well, even when I came to pick up this camera yesterday from the Bateman's house, Patty Erickson came out and gave us tomatoes. Mrs. Ferguson was out weeding, and then Mrs. Bateman she was weeding as well, and then we all ended up in her trash picking out her weeds, and then Kristen Ferguson, so we were all out talking. I couldn't even make it home we were gone for a good hour, but that's the way it goes. You go out front, you go down the road, it's a lot of the similar faces. A lot has changed, and houses have turned over, but I think most people that come here respect the town, or we hope that they would.
We hope they do.
And, we like it on the quiet days, but but so those, it's not as quiet as when we were little, I think. I remember
think
just
so.
feeling really safe. I still feel very safe here, but safe and you could kind of go out and explore as a kid. And so we try to give our kids a little bit more freedom here, and we let them take a ride down to the boat ramp and to
fish, and that's their favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Not like at home though,
Right.
and more. I feel like this is a safer place to be, and everyone's kind of looking out for each other.
Right. You couldn't go out at night and do anything because it would get back to your parents very quickly, because everybody knows everybody. But
And sound travels.
yes, it does, because we're next to the water tower, which I remember when we were little. Do you remember there was a different water tower? It was cylinder, and it was back a little further, closer to the Cordries. And when we were younger, there was a time where you couldn't drink the water because the water was contaminated, because it almost looked as if they had a big trash bag over with a big rubber band around the top. You would see the seagulls up there and whatnot. But so the water was contaminated, so we would have to drive to around First Street in Sea Isle, where they had the well pump. And we would bring all our containers, and you would see all the neighbors there with their containers filling up their water to drink, because it was the safe water. Yep. And,
And at that time too, the water tower had a bunch of wheatgrass around it. And so whenever I hear the wind blowing, there's wheatgrass or whatever it's called around town. I was just riding with the kids recently, and I heard, it was a windy day, and I heard the blowing of the wheatgrass, and I thought, it took me back to my childhood, because when the water tower was all surrounded by the wheatgrass, that's what we went to bed to at night. And
our window was right above it.
yeah,
So the wind would blow, and it would lull us to sleep.
yeah. But it's changed now. It's now that Strathmere is on the water tower, so it's a little bit
Right, so people can find it a
different
little
looking.
easier. And when they were rebuilding, there would be just workers out there, and
There was a crane, right?
there was a crane that fell over, and it fell not towards our house. If it had fallen towards our house, it would have hit it. But some guy was in a crane, and it fell the opposite way towards the Suttons, and just fell right, so it didn't hit anything, thank goodness. But they had the scraps all over the place, and at night there would be kids who would come in and skateboard on the scraps. I remember hearing that. There would be people who would climb the old water tower and just sit on the top. I remember seeing
I remember
randoms.
seeing people climb it. Yeah, yeah.
I remember when across the street at the Massey's, I think Bob Wolf at the time had a projector, and he projected old pictures of the people in town up onto the water tower, and you could watch it. How cool is that?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. And when we were younger, we used to swim in the street.
Yes, when the street would flood, which was often.
Right.
It still
High
does.
tide.
It
High
still
tide.
does. High tide, and especially full moon.
Full moon, high
We
tide.
would be out. People would come down in their kayak. Actually, they didn't. I don't remember kayak, but like a canoe.
A canoe. Yes, I
And
remember
and we
canoe.
would hold on to the back with our boogie boards, and so our kids just did that recently, and we had a storm, and they were out there
in their
boogie
kayaks
boards.
and boogie
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're very blessed to be here. Made lifelong friends that we see every year, every summer. And you may go all winter without seeing them, but once you came back for summer, you don't miss a beat. It's like you pick up where you left off. But now with social media, it's a lot easier to keep in touch
Yeah.
with those friends. And, hoping that our kids will be sitting here one day telling the same stories.
Yeah, I think this table was in the home when we bought it. So even Mr. Shetler, who's a neighbor, who's been here for many, many years, he remembers sitting at this table with the people who lived here previously. And I always think about the stories that this table can tell because it's been here for a long time, and this is where we all gather a lot with.
At night, this is what we do.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Thanks for listening to our story. And, we hope that the tradition lives on to come to Strathmere.
Yeah, we love to tell our story, but then we also like to
Keep it quiet.
not to make it seem like such a great place for others to come to. But we just feel really blessed to be a part of the community and family here, and especially as we get older. And it's the same people you see riding their bikes down the road, and
Give you a little ring when they go by.
and to see our kids now here and bonding with so many of the people that we spent time with when we were younger.
We were their age.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just pretty amazing to see. So we hope that our memories continue and that we can spend many more happy years here.
And some of our favorite memories were probably the 4th of July parade. It's everybody's favorite because you don't watch it once, you watch it twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to Tecumseh and Commonwealth and watch it come by once. Then you run back to Bayview and watch it second time. Head on down to
Deauville for some free hot dogs and all the announcement of the winners and everything.
We've been in it a few times in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once, when we were little, we used to be in it. And then one year I put in a golf cart, took everything from my dad's shed, and decorated the golf cart with it. We won.
Yeah, second
place.
And you were called Walt's Shed, I think.
Yeah,
right,
we're called Walt's Shed.
And now Walt's Shed has been upgraded. It's now Walt Mart.
Yes.
It's right behind the house here with
Serves the community.
whatever you might need, he probably has in there.
Mhm.
So it's a big joke with all the neighbors. When they need something, they come to Walt Mart and they get whatever they need
Yes.
in there, in this small little shed.
Tools,
So, yeah.
paper products, whatever. Some other things were the Bayview Motel that used to be at the stop sign on Bayview Drive at the curve. The Fields own the property. Bayview Motel used to have a pool and a fake palm tree by the pool, and you could
Yes.
pay money to swim in it. So if we were good, I guess we would get to go there.
It was like $1 or $2, a couple dollars, and it was a very small pool, but we loved that. We would go and swim in the pool, which is no longer there.
No, and there were always cats, tons of cats. Whoever owned and operated it had tons of cats
Yeah,
up there. They were always in the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
walking around the
I
property.
remember that.
Yeah. And that also makes, so that was the Bayview Motel, and then the Strathmere Motel was along Commonwealth,
Still
which
is.
still standing there, but it doesn't operate as a motel anymore.
No, I don't know.
Just this year, I think, is the first summer. But I used to clean the rooms there when I was younger, so I did that, I think, 2 summers maybe, where I would just clean the rooms, and I know that Barbara was in charge there.
Oh,
I
right.
worked for Barbara. So, and then another summer, we talked earlier about some of the different stores and delis that were in town, and the Beach Cafe, is that what it was called?
Beach Cafe?
Beach Cafe. I would watch their children, Revan and Lachlan. I watched them. I would go to the store when the store opened and get the 2 little girls, and they would spend the day with me while the store was open.
I think it was Bill McQueen. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. And his wife. Yeah. So, so that was fun. Got to spend some time with those girls. So that was another job.
Yeah, we
in
babysat
town.
all over town. I also cleaned
you
houses
cleaned- Yeah.
all over town.
Yeah.
I mean, you found odd and end jobs.
Mhm.
Most were paid under the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And another thing we were talking about that we remembered is one summer a big sea turtle washed up
oh, it was huge
on the beach.
It was.
And I remember it, so we were probably, I don't know, elementary age.
I have no idea. I
schooling.
don't remember.
But a huge turtle, and we were in the paper and had our picture taken in the paper. But that was kind of a unique thing that happened years ago.
It was dead,
It was dead,
and it smelled awful,
and it was huge.
and it was huge. So they buried it in the sand, didn't they?
I don't remember what they did to it.
It was like 80 years old or something.
Yeah,
It was big to do
yeah.
in town. I washed up on the beach. And then the beach. So the beach has changed so much since we were younger. There used to be, at one point there was a gully when we were really little. And my mom said it was great because we would go down and...
Well, there was a bulkhead that went out from, so we're Tecumseh, maybe 2 streets down. Right? There was a bulkhead.
No, Sumner. I thought it was just the next town over, the next
Maybe.
street over.
Okay, maybe.
And went out and there were rocks.
Up against the bulkhead that ran all the way to the rocks. You could kind of walk along the top, but the gully formed. So for like a whole summer, we had a gully that was almost like a big pool that
we could play in.
Yeah.
Kept us busy.
Yes. Yeah. And then some years we would have no beach at all. I remember sometimes at high tide we would have no, right up to the coffees at the end of our street, the water would come all the way up and we would have a very small beach. And then, you know, they did the dredging and there were some years.
But even before the dredging, there used to be catamarans that were kept, I want to say Sumner, at the end of Sumner, and they were like chained to something. I don't know, but people would store their catamarans there because I remember playing up there.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it.
And we would play with like all the old bottles that were left on the beach.
Oh yeah, that's what we would go up.
We would play bar on the bulkhead because the bulkhead at the top of the beach, there was a bulkhead. We would spend quite a lot of time up there playing.
Yeah. So the beach has changed, and now the beach is huge and beautiful.
Once again, but there were times when
we didn't have very much.
Much beach.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, with the erosion. So we also.
And the other thing we just talked about was Nightmare in Strathmere every year, which we loved, you know, which is big in town. Just like the 4th of July, it's kind of run similarly. Like I always felt like the 4th of July it almost feels like the same
atmosphere
every year. Yeah, it's just, it's the best. But
Nightmare in Strathmere has changed. Too. It has changed also because it used to be, I mean, maybe it's just because we're older.
Maybe.
But I just remember parties at every house on the bay. Every single house. And you would start at one end and you would just pop into the parties along the way. And my parents' friends, the Dobersteins, had a place on the bay, and
a huge party with
DJ.
It was fun.
Out all night. People just like, it was traffic up and down the roads, walking or on bikes at night. Just fun.
And some of the same, just like the 4th of July, some of the same groups of people have their, you know, very unique themed
boats
decor.
And you know,
their
ducks.
themes. So that's always fun to be a part of too. So.
Yes. Okay. And that's it. And then just also, you know, having a boat. We had a boat growing up. My dad had a boat.
Yeah.
So we were able to go putt around in the back bay or go to the sandbar or.
And now we're trying to do
with
that
the bay
more
floats.
with our kids and
Start at the boat ramp, end at the Deauville. Start at the Deauville, end at the boat ramp. Your bay float, or you would just get out on somebody's dock.
Or try to make it across to the sandbar.
Right. Yeah. Which is very difficult now because the tide moves.
Yeah. But.
So that's some more things we thought about. Sorry for, you know, the 3 parts, but come and go, your memories, and just lucky to be here still.
We are. I'm happy to come back and always feel welcome and safe and a part of a special family here.
Yeah. So anybody who has been here during the summers totally understands and connects with that. Right?
I think so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.